Yeah, I'm now on my way to the Electoral Commission headquarters here on 7th Street, where I'm going to pick my nomination papers to contest for presidency 2026.
Upon arrival at the Electoral Commission, those seeking the nomination papers undertake a three-step registration process that starts at the entry to the Commission headquarters, at the main reception, and then at a temporary shed leading to a waiting center where the documents are handed to aspirants.
And at the moment, I've given my national identity card as proof of nationality, of course, and the other details that are required. And so I'm queuing up, just waiting to be called to pick the nomination papers and then continue with the process thereafter.
While in the queue, I also had the opportunity to rub shoulders with fellow aspirants or those who came to pick up the nomination papers for their party presidential flag bearers, like the National Resistance Movement Secretary General Richard Odwong. Soon, it was my turn to receive the papers.
I've managed to collect the nomination papers. The process was smooth. It took about 30 minutes to complete right from the time I arrived up to this moment when I've been handed the nomination of papers to officially go and look for signatures. These signatures are 100 from 98 districts. So in each district, I need 100 signatures of supporters. And these supporters must be registered voters. Now, we are embarking on the process of looking for the signatures.
Right from the Electoral Commission headquarters, our next stop was Onyango, a suburb in Makindi Division in Kampala. My team and I spent roughly an hour in the area persuading the residents to give us their support by providing their details and signing the documents.
So we are now back to office to execute this story. We are done with the process of looking for signatures from the voters, valid voters. And our experience indicates that Ugandans are very enthusiastic and they can support anyone, whether coming on a political party or as independent ticket. However, the biggest problem is actually getting the NIN numbers. So as you can see, it was a struggle getting the number of the registered voters that we have got. At this moment, we cannot even tell whether they are registered voters. But yeah, they were willing to give us their names, their contact, except there is only one person who managed to give us their NIN number.
Fulfilling the requirement of collecting a minimum of 9,800 signatures from supporters is one of, if not the most gargantuan task of all, if one is contesting on the independent ticket. Aspirants contesting under political parties have the option of using the party structures at the grassroots to look for the signatures. But even then, some parties don't have known structures. For the electoral body to count the signatures as valid, a supporter must have a NIN, mustn't have signed for any other aspirant, and should be a registered voter.
This person must not have offered their support for a candidature, for a presidential hopeful, to another person. We have a system here, because we have told the people who are picking nomination forms and those supporter forms that they are supposed to bring them 2 weeks before nomination dates. And the nomination dates for president is 23rd and 24th of September. When they bring those forms and those supporters, the team of the Electoral Commission will verify one by one against those parameters. Are you on the voters register? Yes. Are you from that district? Yes. Have you not submitted your signature for another person? Yes. When you have been marked as having provided support to another candidate, your support for another candidate will be invalidated. It will not be successful. And
the aspirants have less than 30 days to collect the signatures. This technically implies that the aspirants have to travel about 365 kilometers to West Nile, 470 kilometers to Karamoja sub-region, 410 kilometers to Gigezi, 305 kilometers to Sebei, and 336 kilometers to Acholi, as well as Central Region, to secure the required signatures.
The aspirants have said that the period that they have been given is so short to collect all these signatures. Did that occur to the Electoral Commission, and maybe why the short period? Because we are talking of less than 30 days.
No, we have every confidence that somebody offering themselves for the leadership of the country at the level of president should have the capacity and ability to collect 100 signatures from 98 districts. It sounds too big, but for the responsibility and position that somebody is contesting for, we believe that the period given is sufficient, perhaps even more than sufficient.
Despite the hurdles, several have always managed the process and received a green light from the electoral body to contest on the independent tickets upon their payment of the 20 million shillings nomination fee. The 2016 elections attracted 7 presidential candidates and 4 of them contested on independent tickets. These were Mama Mbabazi, Venantius Bariamureba, Joseph Mabirizi, and Faith Maureen Chalia Walube. The high-octane 2021 presidential elections attracted 11 candidates, 6 of whom contested on independent tickets. They included Joseph Kabuleta Kiza, John Katumba, Nancy Kalembe, Willie Mayambala, Fred Mwesije, and Henry Tumukunde. Today, the names John Katumba of the Katumba Oye fame or Willie Mayambala could be known to the electorate, but this was hardly the case when they first contested in 2021. It should have been difficult for them to get the number of the required signatures of supporters, but they appear to have defied the odds.
In the previous campaigns, many people were asking me, Mayambala, how did you achieve this? How could you afford this? And many were betting, Mayambala cannot do this. An independent candidate cannot afford to do this. But the procedures are not so complex and they are not so easy.
I managed to separately engage the duo to establish how they managed to do it.
I personally build a team of agents. I use a team of 300 individuals in every district. I have a minimum of 2 individuals. So looking at the time that we are given to handle this, I coordinate with these people.
The thing bit is that the independent people are tied their hands, both financially and other factors. For example, me, I'm known, others are not known. When you go in the community there to solicit signatures, the community may be rebellious to you. So to avoid all such issues, I think the government should find ways to be done.
Both Katumba and Mayambala have once again picked up the nomination papers.
It is really so tricky. That's why I think very many have picked the nomination forms. But the challenge is returning them. That's where the challenge comes in. However, I've been there in the system. I know how the system works.
Both Katumba and Mayambala can be taken at their word, although it does not rule out the skepticism by a section of scholars that the process is at times made easy for the independent candidates by the state. The fulfillment of the requirement could also mean giving handouts to supporters. Jackson Onyango, NTV.